You deal with the most intimate moments in people's lives. Finding a car for a celebrity and going and picking that car up and then delivering it to them, talking to them on the phone, not their assistant, not their manager, you're talking with them. You have the bat phone directly to the biggest celebrities in the world. Yeah. All these people that want this like access that you have. And it's not that you don't want the access, you want it in a different way.
The access, believe it or not, celebrities are a puppet. That's what they are. They're just, unfortunately, they're like a puppet. And the celebrities have a team of basically 5 different categories around them usually.
Okay.
And all of them are the ones that push them in the direction of trying to build their career. So the celebrity does not have that power that the majority of people think. I'm not for everybody. Not every shoe fits.
Right.
But once you get in there, the birds of a feather flock together. Industry's small. And, if you have, if you hang out with drug addicts, you become a drug addict. You hang out with successful people, you're going to have a great chance of being successful. And then when you start getting into that group of people and you provide the service, and also send a thank you card. Don't send an email, don't send a text. Have write a thank you card, goes a long way.
All right, so I want to preface this by saying we are going to lay down the foundation of your story, but this podcast is 3 years in the making.
God, how long has it been?
At least 3 years, maybe 4. Maybe going on 4.
Wow. We've gone to Disneyland times.
And it started out with a Facebook message from you saying, I have an interesting story. I think you'd like to have me on the podcast. By the way, do you like hockey?
Exactly. And then also, I was like, I don't ever do that. And I saw you on the video of that one lady.
Yeah, it was Tran. Alex and Marcy Tran did like a
10-part,
7-part.
Yep. And then I saw you on it, and then Jeremy was on it. And then I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Kind of like during the COVID times. I was like, I was going to message him and like, maybe you'll like my story. And then you didn't believe me.
I didn't believe you. And then I called Jeremy because you were like, let's go to a hockey game and I'll show you what I do. And I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, this random guy sent me a message on Facebook and wants to take me to an LA Kings game. And she's like, and you're going? I'm like, well, yeah. She's like, you're going to get killed. I'm like, well, he did mention that he knows this other guy that I know who is Jeremy, with Shine Supply. And so, who I've had on the podcast. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just text Jeremy to see if this guy's legit. And so I text Jeremy like, hey man, long time no talk, but if you got a sec, could I like ask you about this random guy? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's like, well, what's his name? I'm like, Aaron. And he's like, oh, Aaron, he's legit. And then, so all that to say, to give some context to, your story is going to seem unbelievable. And this is going to have to be a multi-part podcast. But let's lay the foundation of who you are and how you got started in the detailing space. Hey, if you're looking to add some microfiber towels to your stack for free, I'm giving away 3 of these microfiber towels when you spend $30 or more over on jimbosdetailing.com. All you need to do is add the Softer Than Soft microfiber 3-pack to your cart and use code BLUE, and you will get 3 free, beautiful blue microfiber towels absolutely for free. Again, just use code BLUE after adding the 3-pack of the Softer Than Soft microfiber towels to your cart, and you'll get them absolutely free.
I haven't done the math, but it's been over 25 years ago. I worked at Albertsons. I was a liquor manager, and I would go to work at 2 to 6 in the morning, and sometimes we'd do the graveyard shift. And I would get off work, and then you're kind of bored because everyone else is working. And then this guy across the street was washing cars and asked my neighbor, hey, do you want to help? And he said no, but maybe my buddy across the street wants to help. So I started washing cars with this guy. I was probably, I don't remember how old, I was young. And then I would just start washing cars and just kind of learn how to wash cars.
Just because you were bored?
Just because I was bored, and then he would just pay me cash. So I'm like, okay, great. And then through the years, I got him a job at Albertsons because he needed health insurance. And then I stopped helping him, and then I was like, you know what? I got a tax return. And at that time, I'm like, it doesn't cost that much money to start all this. So I went ahead and used my tax return and got $800. I got a 30-gallon water tank. And at that time, I was driving a Honda Civic 4-door. The water tank fit in the back seat. And then I went and got the red Honda motor because I didn't want to have to buy another one because I know the Hondas last so long as this. So I bought that, and then I bought, at that time, Craftsman had a generator for electricity. And I bought that, and...
All for $800?
No, it was the water tank and the generator.
Okay.
That was $800
Okay.
back then. And the hose. And then I think that thing was like $400.
Okay.
And then I just started washing cars out of my Honda. Then I would just take the generator out, put it on the ground, and then because all the water was in the back seat, because that was a 30-gallon water tank. And
Did you put the seat down, or
no,
you just put it right on top?
I just ghetto. I just put it right
Put it
there.
right on top
and
of the
then,
seat.
Then you look at me and you see a Honda Civic, you see this little hose going out to the generator, and I would just start washing cars. And then a friend of mine, because at that time I was using $1 grand.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're out of business now, but they were around since like the 30s. It was like the third generation, I think, making it. And then one of their friends there, that was the sales guy, said, "Hey, I'm a drummer." He's a professional drummer, and he was a drummer on the show called Happy Hour with Frank Zappa's kids, Amit and Dweezil. And he's like, "Hey, I told Amit about these products because he kind of helped with the sales." And he's like, "Go down to his house and go clean his car."
So before this, you had no experience with any, because as your story develops, you only deal with celebrities now.
Yeah.
And very little car detailing, but we'll get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But you had no connection to any celebrities?
Nothing. I had nothing. And the guy's like, "Look, go down, clean his car." And he has a big family because of who the family was. And I'm like, "Okay, great."
Did you know who he was
No.
at the time? No idea.
No,
Just some guy.
No clue. So I went down there, cleaned his car, and he's like, "Lo, can you drive here?" Because it was an hour drive from Ventura to Hollywood.
Okay.
And then I did his car, his girlfriend, his sister, brother, sister, and mom. And it was always known on that street that that's where they always got their cars cleaned, because it's a very, very famous street up in Hollywood Hills.
And did you know that at the time?
No.
Or you're just going to...
It's called, the street's called, you can do everything's Googleable, but it's Woodrow Wilson.
Okay.
And so I just started washing cars on that street. I was like, sure, I'll come down here every week. Why not? And then from that, people would just drive by and people would walk by. And I was like, okay.
Because they weren't behind gates or anything, so
no gates or
you're just
anything.
out on the street.
Yeah, and it's a very famous house because that's where Frank made all his music.
Okay.
So like the whole neighborhood and the industry knew
What
that
year?
house.
What year is this?
2000.
Okay.
Probably.
So is this still the time? Was he big enough at that time where because
No, he was dead. He
was
already
dead.
passed.
Okay, but star maps were star maps a thing where people were driving by. Okay.
No, not at that time.
It was just other people that were in the neighborhood.
The neighborhood had. Every other house is a celebrity house.
Okay.
Or the house is known for a celebrity that lived there.
Got it.
Because it's a very, very famous neighborhood, especially that street, because it's right off of Mulholland Drive.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, how am I going to meet all these people? So I decided, So I always had my dog with me. My dog was always on a leash.
What kind of dog?
A boxer.
Okay.
And that's kind of a conversation piece.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I need to start meeting people. Mm-hmm. So I made a little easel, doing a free car wash. People would stop. And when people are walking, because everyone's walking. It's a big thing, walking.
Were they in the... I'm trying to paint the picture because I don't know the street. So are they is it a cul-de-sac?
No, it's just it's up in the hills.
Okay.
It's like a small road that a 1.5 cars can go.
Okay.
And there's always people walking.
Okay.
Hi.
And your sign says, "Do you want a free car wash?"
Yeah, we're a car wash, and people would stop. And then also, I'm like, how can I get more attention? So I decided, well, let me start dyeing my hair colors. So over at Hot Topic, you can buy the little canister of $9.99. And I would start changing my hair colors. And then people would be like, hey, last time I saw you, it was green. Why is it green? That's the color of money. Oh, why is it orange? It's going to be Halloween. And I would use that because it would just activate. If you could activate the customer, you could start to control the conversation.
It's such a reoccurring theme that in your story that also a lot of people ask too is how do I get more customers? How do I do? And I think we both have talked about this a bunch, but like first of all, you have to stand out, right?
Stood out.
And offering, sometimes if you have more time than you do money, you offer free services, right?
People still today will ask me, and I'm going to tell you right now, never advertised, never had a website. I had a website once, I never used it. But I had the most amazing business cards.
And what was it about the business cards?
It's called Ultimate Business Cards. And each business card, and this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
It cost me $500. And each card was 72 cents. And there's these like 3D business cards. And I still have never seen another person with these cards.
Do you still have any?
Yeah. I still have them. Don't give them out. But I still have them. But it's just, people would remember me because I had crazy hair. And then also, I was at the house and everyone knew the house.
And then you're there every week, right? So you have like the trifecta of things. Like you got the easel with the free car wash, but then you're there every week. You're out washing cars. Then you got the orange hair, the green hair, and it's like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
Because you got a lot of attention.
I got a lot of attention.
Right.
And I would always be waving to people, saying hi, and you would just see different celebrities, and I was able to start to pick and find their cars.
Okay.
And how did I do that? Become friends with the UPS and the FedEx driver.
Okay.
Because guess what they know? Where everyone lives.
So how does that relationship start with the UPS,
just start
FedEx?
the charm. Just start talking.
Okay.
Hey, they're trying to deliver a package. Hold on, let me go ring the bell for you. Hold on. Oh, they're home. They're not home. Hey, I'll tell them that you're going to come back later. Just try to build a rapport, and then we figured out where people lived, and then you notice the car. And then whenever you see the car, whenever you see that Porsche coming around the corner, as you're like cleaning the car, you wave. Then I'm like, oh, I know who that is. And then you start, hopefully it's them in the car.
Right.
And then you just start learning where everyone is.
So how long were you washing cars at the Zappas before you got your next client on that street?
It was quick, and I still have some of those exact people still to this day.
Do you remember your second client on that street?
Yeah, the guy across the street, because he was backing up his Mercedes SL, and the gate was going to close. Well, when the gate was going to close, what happened was the gate at that time had a little bolt, and the bolt punctured the tire.
Oh, shoot.
So it punctured the tire, not the car, and the car goes psst. So I'm like, you need some help?
Because that's kind of your shtick even today, right? Like you're looking for any little opportunity to
I'm looking for a nail.
Got it.
I'm looking like, there's a rock. Oh, is that a nail or a rock?
Right. Any opportunity to kind of slither in there.
Slither there. Oh, you have a nail? Oh, just don't pull it out. Let me spray some soap on it. Let me kind of move it and see if it bubbles. Because
it's like, I used to have this thing with me, like, I just need my foot, like when I was trying to get a job, like my first job, I remember just like, if I could just get to the interview, like it'd be over, right? It's the hardest part is getting to the interview so that you could showcase what you have to offer.
Plus you're at their home and their guard is down.
Right.
And this guy, he was in a hurry to leave. So he had to go take the Range Rover and then had to pull the car back in. And then it's kind of like...
So did you help with all that?
I can't remember back then because it was just like this young kid.
Yeah, got it.
I was just this young kid.
Right.
But it was just like, there's just ways how you get in.
Was he famous or was he just a rich guy?
Producer.
Okay, big producer guy.
Massive
Do you still deal with him?
Still
deal with him.
Yeah.
Wow. 25 years later. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's, once you make this impression on people, they will always remember you through all of the years.
Right. And like we talked about yesterday, we should record all our phone conversations. Of course, then we wouldn't be able to anyway. So, but what we talked about yesterday was similar to, and I use the analogy of my wife does hair and makeup, and she's in such this like interpersonal bubble. She does some like influencer, some multi-level marketing or network marketing, people that are higher figures in that space. And so, but everyone she works with has a public image.
Yeah.
And they put on makeup to, keep this public image going. But she has this unique standpoint that she sees them at their most vulnerable with no makeup on. right? Which is a very vulnerable spot, especially for a mid to late 40s to 60-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And so, but like you just mentioned, their guard is down. And I find it so interesting because just like for her, with us, for some reason, when we're talking about cleaning someone's car, their guard is down and they're in a vulnerable state. And they're just like they're just like person to person talking.
They're just coming out to hand the keys to you in their pajamas. They have their flip-flops on. They have the same morning clothes they've been wearing for 10 years.
Right.
And no one's watching. Mm-hmm. The camera's off. Mm-hmm. So you have this more intimate time with them. And a lot of them just want to talk because they don't have friends. I'm not there to be your friend.
Right.
I have too many friends. But it's like it's Sunday morning, it's Saturday morning, or they're on their way to take their kids to school because they're like in that mode of, I have children, I got to take care of them. And it just gives you more ability to talk. Plus, it's their car. Their car is like their office. It's like their home.
Right.
The car is so personal, and you keep a lot of personal stuff. Like I've seen baby pictures of the scan of the ultrasounds, and no one in the world knows there's a baby coming. I do, because where do they keep it? The glove box. Armrest.
Was it ever tempting? Okay, so when I started detailing in 2008, and then in 2016, I get picked up by a blender, and they kind of show me like the behind the scenes of another side of the car detailing space. And it's like the curtains lifted, the veil's torn, whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is how it goes, right? So I imagine that so you're in Ventura, you're just working at Albertsons, like you're just a regular person. And then you get thrust randomly into this like Hollywood scene. Yeah. And you start seeing these things like you're talking about, the ultrasound, you start hearing things, you start seeing things. Is it kind of a culture shock for you?
It's a culture shock.
So what does that feel like as a young guy who's, just a normal Joe Schmo, and then you're rubbing shoulders and you're in these cars of these...
Well, it's not even going to that. It goes more to the level of you get to see who does the walk of shame. And you get to see who's dating and no one knows because they're leaving or they're coming. Or you got to go help them out with something because, hey, can you help my friend?
Give us a story without saying names if you can, of like maybe the first time this happens of like...
Well, it's like, it's some of the people like they use other cars. They don't use the nice car when they come over and spend the night. You know what I mean? Or you find, I remember one guy, he was a baseball player, and vacuuming the car, and whenever athletes, they do what they do, and under the seat was a pregnancy tester, and it was already done, and the girl left it. He had no idea, because some of these people will leave fingerprints.
Right.
They'll leave a ring. They'll leave a jewelry. You'll have the longer hair. They'll leave little tiny pieces. And I'm like, you don't have any more kids. So at that time, there's no text messages. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Come here.
To the guy that...
To the guy.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, come here. He was like, what? I said, look right there. He's like, can you get rid of that? And save your marriage? Yes, I can. No problem.
Whoa.
It's stuff like that.
Whoa.
Because the women that come in there that try to grab, they're not dumb.
Right.
And they're there, and they're not stupid. You
wow.
know what I mean? It's.
What is that like though to try to navigate that? Do you play the role of like, I'm just the car wash guy? I don't know. I'm just here to serve.
I'm not your friend.
I'm not your friend.
I'm just here to. Hey, you need your car cleaned?
And that's something that you, over the 3 or 4 years that I've known you, and we've had hours and hours of conversation, that's the one reoccurring thing that I think you bring up a lot, but also is almost like your ticket to success. Is like, you deal with the elite of the elite, right? And I know people watching this may not believe it as you wear a hoodie and look like a normal guy still, but literally
I don't blend in. I'm a gray car. I blend in.
Right.
I don't have the watch. I don't have.
But
anything.
you always say, "I'm not your friend." Even these celebrities that you take in now, right?
Yeah.
And they want, Aaron, we should be buds. We should go get beers, and it'll be the most famous person in the world. And you tell them straight to your face, "I don't want to be your friend."
I tell people right out of the gate, I don't want to be your effing friend.
Right.
And they're just like, what? And I'm like, I'm not here to be your friend.
So where does that come from, though? Because a lot of people, because I think that's also the key to success for you, because you do deal with these people, as I look at the card that we have out there, to think about that whole story, but it's like you deal with the most intimate moments in people's lives. Finding a car for a celebrity and going and picking that car up and then delivering it to them, talking to them on the phone, not their assistant, not their manager, you're talking with them. You have the bat phone directly to the biggest celebrities in the world. How do you not get wrapped up in that? And is it hard to not become their friend? Is it easy? Where did that, because a lot of people, I got to make it to LA and I want to be an actor and I want to be a music star, or I just want to go see where the Menendez brothers killed their parents, or blah, blah. Like Star Maps exist, TMZ exists, all these people that want this access that you have. And it's not that you don't want the access, but you want it in a different way.
The access, believe it or not, the celebrities are a puppet. That's what they are. Unfortunately, they're like a puppet. And the celebrities have a team of basically 5 different categories around them usually. Okay. And all of them are the ones that push them in the direction of trying to build their career. So the celebrity does not have that power that the majority of people think. You can have a ramification if they get seen sometimes. That's what people always want to be seen with them. You can push your career. But it's like whenever I want to get free tickets to a hockey game. Yeah, I know the players. They don't have tickets. You got to call the lady that has the tickets.
Got it.
Because they're hockey players. They don't know anything. They just go to work and they go home. And if they want to help someone or give tickets or gift tickets, you got to go to the person that has tickets. If I ever go to a concert, I don't tell the person who's performing on stage. They don't know shoot about a ticket. You got to ask the manager. You got to ask the agent. You got to ask the venue. They're the ones that have it. And people get this thinking you got to be around them. No, if you want to build something into Hollywood, you still got to deal with all of the people that are on the ground like me. Even though I know everybody, it doesn't really get you any further as you think. They're just normal human beings, but just because you know you're not going to get in the movie. You got to talk to the director. You got to talk to the producer. You got to talk to the casting person. If you want to get in movies, you go to the casting people.
Was that a revelation to find out in and of itself of just that piece of if you know, I don't know, I'm terrible with celebrity names. You tell me all the time, with this person, I'm like, I have no idea that. I really don't care either, but it's because you're right. Before I met you, I assumed name any A-list celebrity, they have all the power. And what you told me is it's actually the manager of that person that has the power. You need to know the manager.
Well, that's what's really interesting that's taken to social media, that these massive TikTokers that I take care of, on that phone is the power. They now have the power. They could go home and do whatever they want and release it.
So that power is kind of shifting.
Yes, the social media is giving the power to the TikToker, to the Instagram. Okay. Because they don't have to go through everything. Because who owns that account?
They do.
They do. They might go to their team as they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. But at the end of the day,
they still have the power.
They still got the power to post.
So is that why we see all these, whether it's the Diddy thing or we see the Me Too movement that came out or whatever? It's is that why, I lost my train of thought there, but is that why celebrities get thrown under the bus so easily? I forget what my question was going to be there, but that it's interesting it's probably interesting from your perspective to see that shift in power happen a little bit.
It's a whole new industry because whenever in Hollywood, whenever the social media kids came, and we're you're not making any money. I was that person.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not making money. No. Guess what? They
shifted.
make more money. They have more power. And everyone's like, oh, it's not going to last. Well,
It's lasting.
it's lasting.
So let's go back to, you have the Azovs, or not the Azovs, you have the Zappas, and then you have the neighbor across the street who's a big producer, and then, and you're just strictly washing cars for these people.
Uh-huh.
You're not paint correction and...
There's no internet back then.
There's no internet. So how are these people even getting in touch with you? Is it literally just because you're there on Fridays or whatever?
Just by seeing me. That's it. They just see
Got it.
me, and that's literally it.
And you're just charismatic. You got crazy hair.
And then the other thing I used to do, I had a client, one of my first clients that was not famous in Ventura. He owned a wine club. And I would clean his cars for wine. And I didn't even drink wine. And then I was like, okay, so if you refer me or you do a detail, I'll give you a bottle of wine. And then on the bottle of wine, I got the little Jiffy Lube, little plastic things.
Yep.
And I put the thing on the bottle of wine.
Ah.
And then I put one in the door jamb. And that was another great thing because it's like, you know me, if you referred me, I'll come back and bring you another bottle of wine. I would just give out wine like crazy. And it's just very different. And what does everyone in Hollywood do? They drink. What do they all do? They bring a bottle of wine whenever they go somewhere. So that was another unique way of advertising in that aspect.
Okay.
So it's that, and just, just saying hi to people. When people are walking their dogs, just say hi. When people are walking their dog, hey, you want a free car wash? Hey, if I was at a gas station and I saw a guy with a nice Porsche, who's going to say no?
It's so interesting because there's so many people that are so unwilling to do that simple thing. Because everything you're talking about is very simple.
It was simple because I think at that time I was charging $20 to wash the car. And it's like, if you do something like that, yeah, it's going to take you a lot longer to do the first wash. Most likely, if you're in the people the nicer cars, they're going to tip you.
Right.
And they're going to remember you.
Right.
Or they're going to be like, oh, can you do my wife's car and I'll pay you? That was a lot.
Right.
And some people, I would just go up to the front door. I'll never forget. I was in, gotta be politically correct. I was in this upper class neighborhood in Lake Sherwood. And there's the Sherwood Country Club. It's this famous country club. And there's all these really nice neighborhoods. So I was in the neighborhood, and this rapper moved into the neighborhood. And all the neighbors, I did a lot of the cars, like, who's that? No one knew who it was. And they got all mad at him, the HOA did, because he brought in his tour bus. And then he had a Bentley Azure, he had he had a Navigator, because that's right when the new Escalade bodies that everyone bought.
Yep.
And then
2005,
something like
Yep.
Then he had and they also had the Jaguar. That's when Jaguar made the new design, the rounded two-door.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not scared.
And you didn't know this guy?
No.
You were just in the neighborhood.
No. And they would ride around in the neighborhood on their mini bikes.
Yep.
And
making a ruckus.
Making a ruckus.
Yeah.
So I walk up to the front door, knock on it. Da-da-da-da.
There's no gate. There's no nothing. Okay.
Because it was in the gate.
It was already in the gate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just walked up to the front door, and I just.
What was your hair color at the time?
Oh, I don't remember.
Was it dyed?
I think it was blue.
Okay.
No. It was blonde tipped.
Okay.
And
very 2005.
Yeah. And then they used to call me Eminem because when Eminem was big. I walked up to the front door, knocked on it, and these three guys come to the front door. Like the main guy came to the door, then his his brother and I think his cousin came to the front door. And I'm like, hey, my name's Aaron. You want a free car wash? And he's like, wash my Bentley. I'm like, okay. And I washed his Bentley. And I did stuff for him for many years. And they would always joke, this freaking goofy-ass white dude just come to my house. And then all the neighbors started stopping when I was at other houses. Who is that? Who is that? Yeah.
Could you share who it is or no? Do you still work with him?
No, I still know him as Mac 10.
Okay.
If you know the
Got
rapper
it.
Mac 10.
Got it.
And it was just like, I had this great relationship with him. And it was just like, it was made fun of me, but it was in a fun
Right.
conversation. Because, you know, they're in the neighborhood, and all of a sudden I just come up, hey, you want a free car wash? He's like, wash my Bentley. I'll never forget that.
But I think people are, like you said earlier, like they come out in their PJs or their whatever. It's like people are constantly just trying to connect with other people. And then especially for a celebrity that everyone assumes they have power, but they don't have power, it's probably a weird dynamic for them too, right? And they're just trying to be like normal in this very weird bubble that they live in.
Yeah. And then sometimes you could buy gifts that people, just to be unique, just to be memorable.
Mm-hmm. Memorable is your name of the game.
The name of the game is like, I used to always go to, I was dating somebody, and I would always go floor seats to the LA Clipper games. And
that's back when they used to give them away for free because the Clippers were so bad.
Exactly. Yeah, that's when Sterling was there. So I went there for like a year and a half. And when I started going there with the girl, first we're friends, and then I was like, I need to be different. So, because we sat on the floor, and so I'm like, what am I going to do? So there's this famous place called Snooki's Cookies, and everyone in Hollywood knows Snooki's Cookies at the time. And still right now. And so I'm like, okay. So before we would go to the game, we parked underneath the tunnel. And then under the tunnel, we would go eat where the press is. And then we would go out, because we had passes where we had staff passes. We'd go anywhere we want. We'd go in the locker room.
Because of the girl that you knew?
Yeah, because the girl knew.
Okay.
Knew. And like no one could touch us because we have a pass. And so I'm like, okay. So I would get Snooki cookies. And Snooki cookies I would always buy a dozen of cookies because the cookies were like butter. They're just not healthy for you. And
so like crumble cookie before crumble cookie.
Yeah, correct.
Got it.
So the bags were big, and it said Snooki on it. Okay? And it was their logo. And people would come up to me because I was be walking around like the floor.
Right. With
this bag of Snooki's cookies. And next to us was like the seats where they would have celebrities. Those were the tickets they would get. And, hey, you want a cookie? I'll never forget you. Hey, if you ever see them out there or whatever, you say, oh, you remember me at a game? No. Remember that guy that gave you the Snooki's cookies at the game? Oh, yeah! There's the trigger.
Got it.
I'm just not another guy saying hi to someone. You could relate to me because I have something that's going to jot you because of me always carrying the bag.
Right.
Or you're sitting by us and I always give you cookies.
And you're not trying to get anything out of these people.
No.
That's the thing. You're not giving with strings attached.
Just to be memorable. And one guy owned a clothing company, and he's like, yo, because you can sometimes see me on the camera at the games, and he's like, yo, can I give you shirts to wear? Because you're always here. You have that bag of cookies. Yeah.
So did you?
No, I didn't.
You never did that?
No. And then, like, the players knew me. They're still like, I can still go to the players today. And, like, before they go out there, he just had a cookie. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, because those players, they meet everybody.
Right.
But they all knew me. Hey, can I get a cookie?
As the cookie guy.
I was the cookie guy. And I didn't even sell cookies.
Right.
I just always bought them. Well, go over there, pick up the cookies, pick her up, go to the game, come back.
So when did things start to really escalate? Like, how long were you working at the Zappas and the or whatever, Mac 10? Like, how long before it really started to escalate with the car washing for you? And then when did it start to transition into, okay, these people know, like, and trust me with their cars, and now they're asking, hey, I need new tires for my car. Like, what was that kind of like?
Well, it kind of goes back also, I have to say, is that I would go to work at Albertsons at 2 to 6 in the morning, do the liquor department, jump in the car and go to LA. So that was like one day a week. But then it kind of went into another day, and it slowly grew. It grew to enough where I could quit, but I want to be vested. So I had to stay there another 4 years.
Okay.
So, because I was making a week of Albertsons, a day and a half cleaning cars.
Okay.
but I had to just stay.
Right.
So I don't. It's a good question because people would just start eventually asking me, "Hey, I need to get my windows tinted." Oh, I could take your car to get your windows tinted. Or eventually, hey, I can call a guy right now. I want to introduce you, and you can get on schedule. He'd come tint your windows in a couple of days at your house. You have a garage; it's even easier.
And how were you meeting these other people, like the window tint guy?
I don't remember how I did all of that. It's like, because I wasn't. I don't have any friends out there.
Right. Because you're from Ventura.
Yeah,
that's how you knew Jeremy.
Hour and a half, yeah, exactly. Because Jeremy and I went to high school together. I think he's 1 or 2 years younger than me.
Got it. Okay.
He started way earlier than I did.
Yeah. But you're way outside your bubble in LA.
Oh yeah, way outside of my bubble.
Got it. Huh. So, but it is kind of a natural thing when you do. Because I even remember people asking, you need an oil change. Hey, do you have any mechanic? It was like once you're there, because you're in. And I think car washing is like the gateway to get into these people.
The gateway for car washing with what I do for a living, it's it. It's kind of like you go back to, I don't know the guy that started McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's is it's a property business.
Right.
It's not a hamburger business. But you're going to buy my land because I'm going to tell you how to sell hamburgers.
Right.
And then that's how they have so much land. It's because it's that. So like car washing is the same thing because on your car, if your car is leaking, your car needs service, you have a nail in your tire, you have a flat tire, you need a jump start. All of that is what we do, and we see your car because you don't know what to do.
Right. That was one of the things when I did end up going to the Kings game that night and met you. And I remember we're sitting after we did the buffet at the Lexus Club and you really did it up. We're sitting at our seats and you get a call from some guy, right? And you're like, oh, look, it's so-and-so, right? At the ID, I forget who you remember, but I don't remember who it is. And you're on the phone for like 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh, what did he want? And it was like, oh, he didn't know I think it was his tire pressure light was on in his Audi. And he's like, he didn't know what to do. He was freaking out. Yeah, and I'm like, what? Like, it's so foreign to me of like, but as you explained it, these celebrities have someone for everything.
They have someone for everything because if they're really big, they have a gift. And that's their gift in how they do it. They might be a singer, they might be an actor, they might be just whatever. That's their gift. That's their mind. Their mind is all about doing that. That's why they're so successful. But by being successful, you have a successful team that's around you. And I'm just a piece of that team. That's why I'm not your friend. I'm just a piece of that team.
Okay.
So if they have to drive everywhere. So, hey, if there's a problem with the car, you just call me or text me. Or, now, a lot of times if something breaks, get an Uber, go home. I'll come grab the keys, and I'll come over and figure out what we're going to do. Call the tow truck. Tow truck driver might drive your house to pick up the keys. We'll Uber package the keys over. Like, I'll just get stuff done quick because I understand how it all is. Or, the tow truck, I have like 3 different tow truck drivers on standby. When I call, like one of them's going to help. One of them will.
So let's jump forward then to kind of current day or at maybe pre-COVID into COVID, because I think that's when things really started to ramp up for you a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe before.
Yeah. Right before COVID. COVID was a blessing.
So you have this massive network that has grown over the years of just celebrities. You're living in LA now because you need to be closer to where you work, obviously. And so what is the first few things? Is it the window tinting? Is it new tires? Is it
the body shop?
The body shop. So do you remember like the first time, or what is like? Take us to your mindset of like, okay, I'm washing cars, but like, there's got to be more. I need more money. There's got to be more to this. You're constantly looking for an opportunity to get new clients and new ways to get clients. Is it just another extension of that? Like, take us through that, because for other detailers that may be listening that are like, man, like for me, I was like, I can't work when it's raining. I got to figure out another way to make money.
Think about that with different people. How do people do it in like middle America where they have horrible weather?
Right.
And it's like I always remember like gardeners can't be gardeners, then they have to go into snow plowing and snow plowing back to gardeners. And I'm looking at doing the cars. I'm like, luckily my body hasn't hurt yet. But, there's guys that have bad backs, bad knees. Your body gets really beat up by it, and you can't do this forever.
Right.
So I was always thinking, how can I branch off? But I don't want to have a fleet of car washing guys, car washing and detailing. I don't want that. I don't want liability.
Right. Okay.
I'm all about having low liability.
Okay.
Low problems. So that's where I was like, if you get a car accident, go to the body shop. And then the body shop pays a commission.
How'd you know that? How'd you find that
Another
out?
guy told me.
Another guy told you.
And that another guy, we were splitting it. Then I'm like, I get this. And the body shop money is car insurance, like when it's an insurance claim. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Body shop world's a whole nother world.
So your customer that you're washing their car, they get in a car accident, and you just throw it out there like, hey, I got a great body shop.
Body shop. Yeah.
Got it.
They'll come pick it up.
They'll come pick it up.
Yeah.
And the celebrity's like, bitching.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, great. And like, they don't want to deal with it. And then, then I got into the rental cars. I'm like, hey, I did a lot of rental cars because I get paid on rental cars because I'm.
So how do you get paid? So
a travel agent. I'm in as a travel agent.
Okay.
Because if a travel agent books a car, they get 10% of the bill.
Got it. From Enterprise, Hertz, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or your local people, you could get set up as that. So you're gonna get paid by the body shop. The client's gonna pay you to deal with it. And then sometimes the tow truck drivers will give you money.
Okay.
And you start making little bits and pieces around the puzzle because you're doing the work.
Right.
And you just keep giving the business. Thank goodness they're not hurt or injured.
Right.
But then as you start getting into their lives, whenever they get into an accident, they call you before the husband. They call you before the wife. The kids call me.
Is that strange?
Not anymore. Because you start understanding the personalities of the people.
Okay. And the dynamic of the family or whatever. Wow.
So that's, it really pulls you. You don't have to do as many cars because you're going to work smarter.
So did that start to happen where you start washing? So you're at Albertsons, then you start to pull back on Albertsons because you're washing cars more, and then you start doing body shop, rental cars, all this other stuff that all revolve around the car and helping the person out. So then you start washing cars less and doing more of that stuff. Is that how it starts to happen?
Yeah, it kind of did, but I still have the bulk of the same people for 20 years. I really don't add anybody because I don't really want to. It's on autopilot. It's low stress.
Right.
Everybody knows what's going to happen.
Got it.
Am I looking for more? No. I don't do coatings. We don't do detailing. Because the thing is I always told myself, these people get new cars every 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So
they just want the dust knocked off.
They just want it off. And I'm like, let's do a detail. I'm like, why? Your car's clean.
Right. Because you're there every week.
I'm there every week.
And you're even there when it's raining?
I used to, back in the day, still drive to LA and vacuum your car when it was raining.
Got it.
Had an umbrella.
Oh my
and
gosh.
opened the car door, got in there, and vacuumed it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've washed cars in the rain. I mean, my clients, sometimes they don't care. It's going to rain. We don't care. When do we need the car clean in the rain? I mean...
What has been one of the most, surprising things to you of working with these celebrities?
They're just normal people, and they got, Jay-Z says that more money, more problems. People with money are afraid to lose it. People that have no money are afraid to make it. It's like everyone gets jealous of these people. People don't understand how much they work. You're working 40 hours a week. They're working 80. People that live up in the hills, in Beverly Hills, they don't work 40 hours a week.
Right.
Like whenever you see these, if you really watch the interviews, these actors and even the people on the movie set, they're even there longer.
Right.
The actor has to go home and remember what he has to say the next day.
Right.
Even though they say cut, you got to go home and remember everything.
Right.
And how to do it for the next day. But when they say cut, the first person there is transportation. The last guy leaving is transportation.
Right.
And it's like the amount of hours on these movie sets is absurd. And if you're sick, you still got to go.
Right.
And other thing that people don't understand is the traveling. They travel the world. It's brutal. on their bodies. It's brutal on their sleep schedule. And they still got to put a smile on their face. And it's like, yeah, I get it, but, sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes your dog died or your mom is sick. You know what I mean? They still have the normal life, but it's just, people are just following them everywhere. And that's why I just provide this service. I'm just a little piece of the puzzle. And the other thing is your car registration is expired. Hey.
Right.
Oh, you just got a new car? Where'd you get that from? Oh, hey, do you need help doing a transfer? Oh, did you get a smog?
So that's where things really started to elevate for you, right?
Yeah.
So because that's maybe even a smoother transition than a body shop or tires or whatever. They get a brand new car. Aaron, I got a brand new car. Can you come wash it? And you say, hey, I can help you with the registration.
I can help with the registration. I can help.
So how did that start? Just by a simple question?
It was just by a question, and then, oh, look, someone stole your registration. Because I would always check the car insurance. Always check car insurance.
Okay.
Because it adds to another. Hey, I noticed your car insurance is expired in your car. You probably have it, but hey, you might want to get the new updated one. Now it's on your phone.
Yeah.
But it's just adding one more. Oh, he's looking out. Oh, he noticed my sticker's missing. Oh, my month sticker's missing.
Because then you're building trust at the same time as this guy's looking out for me.
Yeah.
Got it. So then it goes into car registrations.
Goes into car registrations and learning the bureaucracy of the DMV to help them with it.
Okay. Because Charlie Sheen, for example, isn't just, or any celebrity, isn't just walking into the DMV to get register their new car.
Yeah.
So they have to have someone.
Well, they have to have someone
on their team.
Or, now you can help them navigate through the website. You can help navigate. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are moving out of California. I'm going to be moving to Tennessee. How do I think I do this? Well, I'm going to call this company. They do all 50 states.
Got it.
And they can assist you with doing it.
Okay.
Or, hey, I could help you get in the middle of it and kind of help baby it along.
Right.
Because a lot of the stuff I do is just, it's help babying it along. Just having someone who's in contact.
Right.
But then these places I do business with, they answer me so quickly because they know I'm bringing you money.
Got it. So then that starts to happen. The relationships build because they know if Aaron calls, I'm making money.
Or if you're at the house doing what you're doing, if you get an answer within 10 minutes, you're a god.
Got it.
But people are going to answer me because they know I'm going to bring money.
So then do things start to really snowball quickly?
Yeah, stuff just starts going quickly because they're like, yo, the guy was at my house. I got a brand new car. Going to get the car registered. Get the windows tinted in 2 days. You know what I mean? It's just
then all of a sudden you're just the plug.
I'm just the plug.
Because you can make it all happen.
Make it all happen.
And then your vendors essentially make sure that you're taken care of because you're taking care of them. Huh? So then you're the middleman just doing all this beautiful stuff.
And guess what I'm not having to do? Wash cars.
Wash cars. I think that's that's a common theme with detailers. It's everyone, myself included, which is why I have this podcast and all that, is everyone is trying to figure out a way to not wash cars anymore. Because it's so taxing, the money's not that good, right?
But it gets you the people. The other thing,
it gets you the people.
Well, it's all these guys are PPFing these cars.
Right.
Instead of spending 8 hours, I would rather make $1,000 on doing a referral. Give me a discount. I can upcharge the client. I can drop off the car, pick it up. I'm the guy you're dealing with.
Right.
You don't have to deal with them, their busy schedule. I'm the contact. I have the car. I could drop it off, do more work over here, make a little bit of money on the PPF, pick it up 5 days later, I'm out. That goes back to the pieces of the puzzle of having different amounts coming out of all different sources. Again, I don't have to wash, I don't have to detail.
Right. Do your clients ever care? I think that's the main thing, the main hang up that a lot of people think about is oh, my client's going to not want to pay me to just be the middleman when they can find it themselves, or I guess that helps dealing with the clientele that you're dealing with.
Well, it's I'm not a Honda.
Right.
I'm a Rolls Royce. I'm not, a Coach bag. I'm Hermes.
Right.
I'm a Louis Vuitton. And those are the kind of people. I'm not for everybody. Not every shoe fits.
Right.
But once you get in there, the birds of a feather flock together.
And the industry is very small.
The industry is small. And, if you have if you hang out with drug addicts, you become a drug addict. You hang out with successful people, you're going to have a great chance of being successful. Yeah, you'll have sometimes things, it's not always the case, but the bulk of it is. And then when you start getting into that group of people and you provide the service, and also send a thank you card. Don't send an email, don't send a text. Handwrite a thank you card goes a long way.
And you have their address.
You have their address because I'm at their house.
You're at their house.
Yeah. But you just got to be different. You got to be different. You know what I mean? Another thing I used to do is I would jot down the prior conversations.
Okay.
Their kid, the birthday. Oh, how was the birthday party last week?
Got it. Just make small notes
Just make small notes.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Just give them that. Don't get into it. But, oh, I saw Grandma was here last week. Or, oh, she was here visiting. Or just whatever. You do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Can you tell the story of Disney and how we get to go to Disneyland so much, or should we save that for another day?
I think used to say that one for
Okay, we'll save that for another day.
That one.
Okay, what else? What else? Your phone keeps. Okay, that story will be for another day. Maybe I'll ask for permission. But we've gone to Disneyland a lot. Not Disneyland. We've gone to Club 33 a lot, which is a big difference.
We get to go to Club 33.
Yep.
Whatever we want. We've eaten there a lot. Sometimes we just go there to eat and leave. Another thing is dealing with Hollywood. You have different access. You have access to the good tickets. You have access to, if you're. I've been to so many. When I was younger, I used to go to a lot of TV show tapings.
Okay.
And you don't gotta wait in those big lines because
Right.
you're already on the list. Like for my dad, Dancing with the Stars. Oh my gosh, Dad wants to go see Dancing with the Stars.
So Dad wants to go to Dancing with the Stars. What do you do?
I call one of the dancers or one of the judges.
Okay.
And then what do? They call the person who has the tickets.
Okay. So then do you eventually meet the person who has the tickets and then you can go around the dancers and the judge?
Yeah, because it's no point going to them
Right.
because they don't have the access. You got to go to that person.
I think that was a funny story that you told me recently was, I forget what it was for, maybe a Kings game or something like that. And I think you were dealing with one of the players. And the player said, hey, if you ever want to go to a game, that was the hockey game.
He's like, well, you already know the lady who I was going to call.
Right. Because the player says, hey, if you ever, you helped him at the DMV or something, right? And he goes, man, thank you so much. You made this so smooth. Yeah. If you ever want tickets to a game, let me know. And you go, oh, well, I already know so-and-so. Yeah. And the player goes, oh, you don't need me at all then.
Because he doesn't, yeah, exactly. He doesn't, I know how the ticket system works.
Got it. Do you think it's possible for someone else who's listening to do what you do for people?
I think it could definitely be done in the market where you have the bigger houses, the people that have more.
Because this pocket, maybe not LA, Hollywood, but a pocket of wealthy people Florida, who have influence are everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere. You just got to find. It's in a sense, I joke, I like people that lose their stuff.
Okay.
Because I make really good money off of people that can't lose their registration, lose their driver license, lose their passport, just lose anything.
Because that's where it's gotten to for you now. You help people with their passports. It's amazing to me that you've told me so many stories of some singer, performer, whatever has a European tour that they're leaving for tomorrow. And they just realized they don't have their passport.
And again, they don't know what to do. So
right.
I understand, have researched how to. I'm nothing special. I just understand the process, and people will pay so you don't have to figure it out because they got something else they got to figure out.
Right.
They just want the convenience of where do I go, what do I do, how long does it take? I'm going to put that on my calendar, block it out, done.
Perfect example is the car off camera.
Yeah.
Celebrity wants it.
Yep.
They call you and they say, I'm looking for this car.
Yeah.
Well, how about a better example? With the Raptor, the Ford Raptor a couple years ago to Montana.
Yeah.
Big time celebrity wants a very specific car in Montana or something like that, right? To drive they want to feel like they're doing a little road trip.
Yeah.
right? And was it the manager that called you? Because they tried a couple different avenues.
That was the assistant. No one could find the car. I knew someone at Ford. They said yes. And they trucked the truck out there because of who it was.
Right.
And then, it's like...
So when you do that and you deliver for a celebrity like that, it doesn't take very many times for you to deliver on just an insane request till you're like, you got the bat phone directly to them.
Got the bat phone directly.
And that's pretty much what happens now, right? Now you got the bat phone.
Because I have that deal with BMW where I can just hand out BMWs. We both have to agree on the client.
Right.
And then I could give them a free BMW. That's why BMW gives me my free XM Red Series to drive. You know what I mean? It's like we both help each other out.
Because then it just snowballs, right? Because everyone's helping out and the industry's small, and so,
industry's small. And it's just, it's the power. My power is my phone book.
Your network.
It's the network. The network is the power. Once you build that network, it's really powerful because now I was able to, at 50, going to be 51, I was able to now don't have to worry about my knees and my back and stuff.
Right.
I've done the damn thing. Obviously, no matter what you do for a living, you're going to
your
body.
Yeah.
But
you don't have to continue that damage.
You don't have to continue that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because now I've been able to build something bigger. It's a lot more work.
Yeah.
It's more stress, more work, but you're not grinding.
Right.
I don't have to put my hand in a cold bucket.
You're not physically demanding. You're more mentally demanding.
Yeah, it's more mentally demanding. And it's just, I still think, for the young guys that are detailers, it's like, you got to think outside of this. I mean, even if you want to start a clothing line, you have a lot of clients, you can start handing out the stuff.
Right.
Or if your wife or husband is trying to start, like a cookie business. It's like, hey, you got to advertise on Facebook and da-da-da-da. Or you know what? Hey, let's start giving, I have a whole network of people I can hand this stuff out to.
Uh-huh.
Or hey, you give it to them half off. And again, a lot of people don't like free, but I'll tell you, I would rather be washing a car for an hour where 50 people drive by me.
Right.
Because much money is it going to cost you to get those 50 people?
Totally.
And they might not even own a car.
Well, it's so it's so interesting. People are so willing to spend money in advertising and ads with no guarantee of results, and they're so reluctant to give away a free car wash for an hour because they're worth more, right? And it's like, but you're willing to spend $200, $300, $1,000 on ads that, to your point, don't even know if the people they're reaching even have a car, could be riding a bicycle, right? And you can spend an hour, knocking on Mac 10's door to wash his Bentley for free.
Or also, I always have a pump. If the client's tire light is on,
right,
I'll pump the tire.
Okay. Or
if there's a nail in it, hold on, let me spray it with some interior cleaner, see if it has bubbles. Don't pull it out. Move it left and right. Slowly move it.
Being resourceful, because that's what they're looking for, right?
Yeah, I always have a jumper box. Jumper box doesn't work unless it's charged.
Right.
You know what I mean? I always have that. Oh, your car battery, because us detailers, how many times have we had a dead battery?
Totally.
How many times have we had?
And you can buy one of those for cheap now at Costco, right? Yeah. Like everything that that's what I like about, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show for like this initial podcast to lay the foundation is like, everything that you've always talked about nothing cost a ton of money.
No, it's like also
sometimes not even any money.
Yeah, it's like also like there's a car in the garage that doesn't get driven. Hey, why don't you order a battery tender? You don't want that thing to go dead.
Right.
Like why?
Right.
Put a battery tender on it.
Right.
Oh, that's a great idea. Well, shoot, Amazon will be here tomorrow.
Right. I'll do it for you.
Yeah, I'll do it for you. You leave it on until you try the car.
Right.
Put a nice yellow rag on top of the steering wheel to let you know, why does the steering wheel have a yellow rag? Oh, that's right, because the battery tender is connected. Because you don't want to drive off with it.
Right.
So we've all done it, but you just do something in the car instead of a Post-it. Just put something in the car, set something on the seat. It's going to remind you, like, why is this yellow towel from Kirkland Costco on the seat? Oh, that's because the battery tender.
Right. It's a great idea. Is there anything else? We're right about an hour. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want to cover in this first one? Or there's so much more to talk about.
There's so much more. It's just having the young people build your foundation and then break away from the foundation. because there's so many more things in the world of a car
Right.
that you could do. You could help them buy old cars. You could help them buy new cars. You might even become a registration service for DMV.
Okay.
You could even become a car broker. You could even go into wholesale. But you want to start your base. It's kind of like in LA, there's so many food trucks.
Right.
These food trucks start, they get the following, then poof, then they'll go start a restaurant. Why start a restaurant, advertise, and say, hey, we're hungry, people come in here? No. That's why restaurants, so many of them fail. But you got a food truck, you're parked there.
Right.
It doesn't cost that much. And you start there, you build your base, and then you move on. And that's what I did with the car washing. I built my base, and then I just started looking for more and more and more and more.
You know what you remind me of? There's the story of like when there was the gold rush in California and everyone came rushing to find gold, but the people who made the most money were the people that sold the supplies and the shovels, like how to find gold, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like you're the guy that just facilitates and helps people continue to live their life and do what they're best at. And there's so much money to be made in that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like I could, I work a lot, but it's fun.
Yeah. Because you're always scheming. You're always trying to figure it out.
I'm always doing something. I'm always meeting people. It's like I get to ask questions that no one gets to ask.
Yep.
You get to just, I'll see a client, like he just performed at like SoFi Stadium. Hey, how was it last night?
Right.
Like when I go to these concerts, I don't want backstage.
Right.
Because it's so much more intimate talking in their driveway.
Right.
It's so much more intimate knocking on their front yard. Hey, how are you doing today? It's like I go backstage. It's like, see you tomorrow morning. I'm washing your car. Okay, Bob. Bye, Aaron.
Right.
It's like it's people are like, oh, you get to go. I know. I don't care.
Right.
That's not me, and I think that's why they like it, because everyone there, they're like star effers. They're like, oh my god, oh my god.
Right.
But I'm like,
that's just not your style.
That's just not my style. And they really like that, because I'm not going to go to them at home for an autograph. I'm not going to go to their home for a picture. No, I'll never. I don't.
It's actually the opposite. Haven't they been like, Aaron, do you want a picture with me?
Well,
or
they even like, hey, you want to come to a show? Like, I have one guy, I don't know how many times I've been offered to go to a show, and I'm like, I don't like your music. You know what I mean? It's not country music. I'm so sorry.
That's the one thing we can kind of start wrapping up, because I know you got to go. But that's one thing when you said, "Oh, I only listen to country because you don't have very many country singer clients because the music sounds different when you know so much about that person's life, right?" And I remember you told me something about a super famous singer, and one of his songs came on, and I'm like, I get it now, Aaron. It's hard to listen to that song.
I can't listen to it, and then I know what he looks like in his pajamas,
right?
And it's like
and you know who he's sleeping with, and you found the pregnancy test, and
and like what they say on TV, it's like, okay, whatever, sure.
Right.
But it's like, that's why I like country, because I don't know any of them,
right?
And then that's like when I go to LA, I see my clients on buses, they're on billboards,
right?
And if I go into a store, their songs are playing,
right?
And I'm like thinking, did I send that guy an invoice?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? That's why I sometimes I listen to jazz, because I'm a jazz player.
If someone wants to Google you to see you with a celebrity, just in case they listen to this, what could they Google? No? Nothing to Google.
Yeah, I have no website. I have nothing.
Nothing.
There's you put my name out there, I don't think there's anything.
Nothing would come up.
Anything would come up. There's pictures of me with them on the internet, on TMZ, on Insta, on TikTok, that kind of stuff. But I'm just like a ghost. I'm just like a ghost that pops in, poof, and then pop out. Like I say, I don't want to be your effing friend.
Right.
If you got a problem, call me.
With that, I appreciate you doing this, because you literally have nothing to gain for doing this. You don't want anything from it.
No, I don't want anything.
And I think it's so cool that we finally found a time to do this.
Exactly.
Because we talked so much. But again, thank you for doing this. And I think we'll end it there for the first one. And we'll talk soon.
All right, brother.